Live from clickorlando.com, this is News 6 at 5:30. This is a News 6 Plus takeover. Here now is Solutionaries.
You're watching Solutionaries. I'm Lewis Bolden. Kids missing class. It is a troubling trend in Florida schools, and data shows it's gotten worse since the pandemic. When students miss class on a regular basis, grades drop, and some of kids drop out of school altogether. But Florida isn't alone when it comes to chronic absenteeism. On Solutionaries, we're tackling big problems and spotlighting the people working to solve them. Like Michigan's largest public education system, they hired a team of attendance agents a few years ago to figure out why students were not coming to school.
When Johnetta Burnett's daughter passed away, she immediately took over the care and custody of her daughter's 5 children. Retired and on a fixed income, Johnetta didn't know how she would make ends meet or get her grandchildren to 2 different schools.
I didn't got nobody else, like no family member, nobody really helped me. But since they came, it's like family. I know. They support me with the kids' uniform. I didn't have it. Something to eat, I didn't have it. For Christmas, they did. And I felt very blessed because when they came to me, they had nothing.
She's talking about the Family Resource Distribution Center. It's a place where families in the Detroit Public Schools Community District can receive resources such as school supplies, coats, water, dry goods, and hygiene products for free.
It's been a struggle. A real struggle. But when you got support, that's a big help. It is. Sorry, I'm sorry. I get emotional. Sorry. Because I miss my daughter. And you got support and make it easier. When you don't, nobody, it's hard.
The Family Resource Distribution Center is one of the steps the Detroit Public Schools Community District is taking to reverse a rise in chronic absenteeism. Research from the school district shows the reasons students miss class is often beyond their control, but instead may have more to do with their families not having stable access to resources that will help them get their children to school.
In my experience as a social worker, I've had to send families here and there and every which place to, to get the things that they need, whether it's food or clothing or even, emergency support after some sort of something terrible happens. And a lot of times it's very inconvenient. A lot of times they, might have to go out of their way when transportation might be limited, things like that. So this is a great resource.
Because although we think it's hundreds and thousands of students that need help, a lot of them don't tell us, so we don't know if they need them or not. Even if we go to their houses, some of them won't admit that they need the help. So we don't know exactly what number it is because we only know the people that we help.
The fact that there are some that don't like to admit they need help doesn't stop people like Effie Harris. Harris is one of the attendance agents at Gompers Elementary School in Detroit.
Morning, middle school. Okay, Mr. Walker, you want to do 2 doors?
As part of her job, she arrives early and greets each and every student, many by name.
Good morning, Janaya.
Harris is part of a team that connects with students and identifies why they're absent from school. And that's not all.
What's wrong?
I'm looking for the number, her room number.
I know, what's wrong?
Kids being tardy to school, if it's excessive, you want to find out why. You're investigating early pickups. If kids are leaving school early, you want to find out why. And of course, when kids are not in school on a regular basis. So that's the gist of what I do.
Mom, how are you? I need to speak. Yeah, you're going to do his pack this morning.
It can start off with a phone call home to say, Mom, Dad, so-and-so has not been here. What's going on?
That phone call home is often an uncomfortable conversation, but in the end, it's about finding a solution, even if it means providing resources for the parent in the form of transportation, school uniforms, even paying bills. Parents like Gloria Van Hooser.
Every day is honestly a struggle. I have 5 kids. I have 18, 15, and then we go on to the younger ones. So we have different schools, different work schedules. Mornings are pretty hectic. I have a horrible time sleeping, so throughout all this is kind of what finally opening up to Miss Harris got me to the things I was lacking, and I was trying to be Superwoman, you know. Creates a lot of overwhelmed things, which cause stress, depression, sleep things. So I was neglecting myself. When I finally opened up to her, you know, she told me I needed to focus on myself and, you know, take care of me.
The Detroit School District is also out in the community discussing the problem in forums like this town hall that was open to the public. Superintendent Dr. Nikolai Vidi explains the numbers and the progress made before the pandemic.
Before the pandemic, we improved average daily attendance by about 2 to 3 percentage points, and we reduced chronic absenteeism by 8 or 9 percentage points. So far this year, our average daily attendance is about 84% district-wide, which is a vast improvement from last year and around the same numbers before the pandemic.
The numbers seem far greater after the pandemic in terms of how many families are in need of basic resources to help get their kids to school.
Just to give you an idea of how significant the need is, when we first started a couple months ago, we started with understanding that we would have parents walk in, and so we have a couple hundred parents who just come every month now, right? We also have our attendance agents and other staff who come because they're serving parents locally at their schools, or they take things directly to the house. But it would typically take us to get through 2 semis, 3 weeks to get through all those resources. This last month, it was all gone in 3 days.
And as for caregivers like Janetta Burnett, the access to these free resources has changed her life and the lives of her 5 grandchildren.
It helps with everything: water, wash clothes, sanitizer for the kids, Q-tips, the tuna fish for the kids. See, look at all that. That's a big help. That helped me for a couple of months. You see? And they said, come once a month. So it's a good thing.
When it comes to absenteeism in Central Florida, leaders are looking at ways to reverse the trend. For Marion County, that means finding a solution to the stress so many kids are experiencing.
We were actually on a downward trend of chronic absenteeism and truancy, and COVID reversed both of those, and now those numbers are up, unfortunately.
Kevin Christian, a spokesperson for the county's school system, tells me the district is about 7% over the state average of chronic absenteeism. He says while the problem is not unique to Marion County, school leaders are working on a multi-tiered approach to get results.
For us, that means not just people at the school level, but people at the district level as well, from our mental health and social work services departments. Kids are under a lot of stress these days because families are under a lot of stress in many cases.
Christian says there are several reasons why students are absent, from not being able to adjust coming back from virtual learning to a lack of enthusiasm from school.
We've got to get students in our community back into the mindset that school is important.
For college students, finals are over and summer has arrived, but school is not out. Taking summer courses isn't always about catching up. It can actually be the perfect time to get ahead.
We know that best practices say the more that you stay engaged with your learning, the more you stay engaged in learning.
Seminole State College Director of Admissions, Letitia McCrae, says that's why you should consider enrolling at one of their 4 campuses as a transient student this summer.
So transient students are any students in-state, out-of-state, private, who are looking to come to Seminole State, maybe in the summer and the fall, to get some extra classes. So we're really encouraging students who maybe cannot find classes at their host or home institution to come in the summer and spend some time with us and take some classes and stay ahead.
McCrae says more than half of transient students here are taking classes in math and science.
So we know that that's because they either can't get into those prerequisite courses for programs at their home institution, or maybe they feel like they need to have that hands-on close interaction with the facility or with the faculty member.
McCrae says Seminole State's affordability can't be beat.
We are one of the cheapest schools in state schools in Florida. And so even if your student is on financial aid, that financial aid can transfer. And so that gives you more bang for your buck as far as how many classes you can take.
And transient students can take advantage of tutors and a small campus feel with low teacher to student ratios.
And so for some students who come from a smaller high school, go to a large university and kind of feel overwhelmed, coming back to Seminole State may feel like coming back home. And so we really want to support students to come on home for summer.
Still ahead on Solutionaries, students helping students navigate a difficult world.
I wasn't able to talk to my friends, I wasn't going to school, I wasn't really getting out of the house, and I think so many people felt that, and I think it's really brought attention to the fact that mental health needs to be spoken about.
You'll meet the Florida teen creating a solution. What do you say to your child when they don't want to go to school? It is a situation millions of parents face every day. That's why we're looking at the solutions to making school better. The News 6 podcast, Florida's Fourth Estate, met a student who's using technology to be in school when she can't actually be there.
Okay, so mostly you are schooled from home, right? Because you have something called spinal muscular atrophy, or SMA, and you're really susceptible to infection, so they try and keep you out of the general population. But with this computer called Vigo, you can actually kind of be in the classroom with other students. Tell me how that works.
Yeah, so basically it's an application that connects to this robot that is being kept at the school. And essentially what I do is I just control it from my computer and it moves there, like all the way over there. And they can see me, I can see them. They can also hear me and I could also hear them. So it's kind of like I'm in school without actually being there, like my physical body being there. And it's really cool.
Yeah, it's not your physical body, but it is a physical body, which makes it a little different. So many kids did virtual school where they were just staring at a screen and they were looking at a Zoom room or something with their teacher. Can you tell me the difference between doing this, what you're doing with this robot that's physically driving around school with you on it, and like regular old virtual school?
I would say this robot gives me more freedom. It feels like I'm there, with Zoom, it's kind of more restricted. You can't really move around. You can't really look around. It's more so just answering questions and typing into a little chat box. Whereas with the robot, I can look around. Like if I want to talk to my partner, someone sitting next to me, I can do that. Or I could ask the teacher questions, kind of interrupt her. And it just feels so much more immersive, I would say. So fun fact, my mom was actually the one who kind of brought about the idea of me owning that robot. She actually saw somebody else use it because she was trying to figure out a way for me to have a school experience, because before then I didn't have that. I didn't really have like a normal school experience. It was mostly just virtual school all the time. So she was the one who actually came up with that idea. And I love my mom. She's so persistent. She's like, she knows what she wants. And if it benefits me, she will fight everyone to get me that. And I love that so much. And my dad has also been really supporting. He finds it really cool as well.
Has this been a good way? I want to know, have you been able to make a friend through this contraption that you're riding around on?
I have. It's actually the person who sits next to me. If she's watching, hi, Lily. What's up? I talked to her a lot, actually, and I was able to get her number and stuff. So I would say we're pretty close in that sense.
They always say, what do you want to be when you grow up? What is future Shannon going to do?
Something that would really benefit me in the future and kind of help me live an independent life is something in the field of technology, I would say, because it's growing so much more now in these coming years. And I mean, right now, this is what this whole interview is about, right? So if I kind of work in that field, I'm already pretty good with technology to begin with. So that's something interesting that I would like to do.
Make sure to check out the entire interview with Shannon Hayes on Florida's 4th Estate. And now to another Florida student finding solutions for learning. She's connecting kids with mental health resources with the goal of keeping them in class and saving lives.
Hi, my name is Neera Goyle. I'm the founder of Teen Mental Reset.
Neera Goyle is not a mental health professional, but as a 16-year-old high school junior, she knows firsthand the stress teenagers face every day. From fitting in and planning their future to fears of a school tragedy and navigating a global pandemic.
In the pandemic, I was a virtual learner for most of the time, and that really impacted my own mental health negatively, especially since I wasn't able to talk to my friends, I wasn't going to school, I wasn't really getting out of the house, and I think so many people felt that, and I think it's really brought attention to the fact that mental health needs to be spoken about.
Neera says the goal of Teen Mental Reset is to promote the reality that everybody is going through something, and there are people and resources out there offering real help.
Today, I'm going to discuss self-care tips for your mental and emotional health.
She knows how important it is for teens to get help when they need it with no shame, because without it, the consequences can be tragic.
I've unfortunately had 2 extended family members that have committed suicide, and if that stigma in society wasn't so present, they may have been more willing to get help.
Neera recently hosted a panel discussion with experts and kids to share problems and solutions for common struggles with anxiety and depression. She's also working with local boys and girls clubs and the YMCA to reach more teens in the community.
When kids feel comfortable sharing their experiences and feelings, schools also become safer. Let's look at a district focusing on solutions for school threats by building trust.
Anytime a tragedy happens like Uvalde, Texas, everybody wants to do something, and gadgets are not going to help us. I'm Chris Perkins. I'm the Chief Operations Officer for Roanoke City Public Schools. The research tells us, Secret Service and Department of Education conducted this research, tells us that the K-12 school attacker and approximately 81% of the time is going to tell someone their intention. And approximately 59% of the time, that school attacker will tell more than one person. So we've got to create ways to build relationships and trust. But most importantly, we've got to create ways that if I do see something, I need an avenue to say something so I don't take ridicule or bullying because I may have told on another person. And so anonymous tip lines is one way or one avenue that we can go down.
There's been several things that we think that could have potentially taken a path of violence, but maybe we derailed that before it got there. I'm Rhonda Stegall, Assistant Superintendent of Roanoke County Public Schools. We have the See Something, Hear Something, Say Something campaign. We have a 24/7 monitoring system called Speak Up, where anybody, students, parents, community members can make a report on that line. On any of these tips, there's something happening, and it's our job to get to the bottom of it and work with the parents to help get support.
If it's an immediate issue where there's a possibility of danger, it'll be 911 to be contacted and the local police will be involved. If it's something that, I saw something that's odd, that individuals, they're generally very happy, but there's something wrong, we can take that information and work with. Because a lot of the times there's commonalities with school attackers. There is no specific profile, but as an example, a commonality is, like I said, the 81% will tell someone. Another commonality is 91% use a handgun. The tip line at the rudimentary foundation of this is a very beneficial tool going forward to complement all the other things that we are trying to do as a school system.
The limitations really are the lack of reporting. So there's lots of things out there, and we hear the same things that the Secret Service report said. Oh, we thought they were kidding. When we do threat assessments, we will ask our students, did you hear anything about, oh yeah, I saw it, I heard it, I didn't think they were serious. He does that stuff all the time, I didn't, So it's the getting past that hesitancy to report. So we've had multiple localities, even outside of our state of Virginia, reach out to us interested in the campaign and wanting to use our poster and our information. So we've shared that information. So we're proud of this campaign. However, it can be better because we want more reporting. And the way we can do that is to educate, and that's what we started this year, educating our stakeholders. And we want them to feel comfortable to report and to see that we actually do something. When you see something, you hear something, and then you say something, then we're going to do something.
And if we go through a proper risk assessment or threat assessment based on that information we receive, then we can prevent that. And that has happened. We have worked through those. And we have been blessed in that we have created this culture of safety in our school system to where I believe that the majority of our students feel comfortable going to an adult and saying, I saw this. We've benefited from that. We have stopped things, people from hurting themselves, people from hurting others, because this information came through.
We are always looking for solutions to life's toughest problems. You can explore all the topics covered on the show right now on the new 6+ app for your smart TV. I'm Louis Bolden. Join us next Tuesday for Solutionaries.